Welcome to the Center for Business online information sessions. We are going to get started here. I'm Adam Lawrence, a recruitment specialist here at the college, and thrilled that you can join us today. We will be joined by Michael Hlinka, who is the program coordinator for the Marketing Management Financial Services program here at the college. Now, before we get into the presentation, I'd like to get some housekeeping out of the way. You will not need to use your camera or your microphone during the presentation, so do not be concerned about turning either of those on. I've removed that functionality anyways, but as long as you can see and hear the presentation, you are good to go. Also, you'll see a little icon that looks like a person waving their hand at the bottom center of the screen. Please refrain from using this. This is for your ability to raise your hand to indicate that you have a question. We will not be using this function. If you have any questions during the presentation, please use the chat function in the menu on the right bottom side of your screen. You simply click the sideways arrow icon to open up your options and then use the chat bubble icon that's listed there. There is a team here that is monitoring chat as we go through the presentation and is happy to answer any questions as they can along the way, but we will also have a short question and answer period following the presentation of the program. As I mentioned before, Michael is here with us today to present on the program, but we also have a representative from George Brown College International Office, as well as a representative from the Center for Business to answer questions on chat. And you know what, before we start, we are actually going to test the chat function. So I am going to say hello to everyone through chat. And then I'm also going to ask everybody, where are you joining us from today? So I'm going to say from Toronto. And so if you want to enter in chat right now, that'd be fantastic. Hi, hi International Center. Hi Tanja, you're coming from Toronto as well. Fantastic. If anybody else wants to put that information in, that'd be great. But if not, we are going to move ahead. So feel free as we go through, if you do have any questions that come on chat, you're welcome to get in there. So we're going to start with a little bit about the college and George Brown as a whole. We are a large college with more than 30,000 students in almost 170 programs. The majority of our programs here at the college offer some sort of field placement component, allowing you the opportunity to get into industry while still in class. And when those students finish and move into industry, more than 90% of our employers are extremely satisfied with our graduates. George Brown prides itself on having a very active student community with a number of student initiatives and services to help you succeed at the college. We have program informations to athletics, student-friendly spaces, soft skill development programs, and much more. Now, George Brown is the only GTA college located in the heart of downtown Toronto. We have 3 main campuses and 3 satellite campuses to support our students. Now, the program that we are discussing today is located at our St. James campus. It is the largest of our campuses, made up of about 8 buildings located on King Street East, which is a main downtown thoroughfare. It's very easy to get to us by public transit. It's in walking distance to shopping, food, and many attractions that are downtown. Now, the Marketing Management for Financial Services program is part of our Center for Business, which has postgraduate programs across 4 separate schools, including the School for Marketing, which is the program that we are discussing here today. So now let's get into information about the program. And to do that, I'm going to pass the reins over to Michael.
Adam, thank you very much, and welcome everybody. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Once again, if there's any questions, we'll be happy to answer them at the end through the chat function. So my name is Michael Hlinka, and I'm the program coordinator and professor of the Marketing Management Program. You can see my email, mhlinka@georgebrown.ca. I would also welcome you. I've got a website also under the same name, www.michaelhlinka.com, where you can also find out a little bit more information about the financial services industry, if that's a particular area of interest for you at this point in time. Now, this is a graduate certificate program. So this is the program that we're assuming that students have either already got a university degree or a college diploma, or in some special cases, several years of work experience. And what we are trying to do, ideally, is get you ready for a wonderful career in the financial services industry. The financial services industry is the biggest, and I mean by far the biggest, employer in Toronto. Wonderful opportunities in banking and insurance companies. What we are giving you is we're going to be giving you the skills that you need in order to go out and build a very, very successful career in this industry. And as you can see, this is the only marketing management financial services program in Ontario. It's a 12-month certificate program, so there'll be 2 semesters and a work experience term, and we have intakes in both September and January. So if, for example, you were going to be joining our January 2019 class, you would be in school full-time from January through April. Then you would be doing your work experience term, May through August, and completing your educational requirements September through December. And of course, if, on the other hand, you entered in September rather than January, well, it would be the same process. You would be graduating exactly 12 months later. This is a full-time program with no part-time options. I talked a little bit about the requirements, the minimum education requirements before. So either an advanced diploma, a bachelor's degree, or relevant work experience. Applications are now open to both domestic and international students. And please note, previous marketing experience in terms of educational experience is not required. And that's sort of really the point of the program. What we're looking to do is we're looking to get people who maybe did something different as an undergraduate. I know when I went to school as an undergrad, I didn't do anything business related. It took me a while to sort of figure out where my area of interest was. And then I joined a similar program to this, and I picked up really the requisite hard skills that I needed in order to fashion a career. So if you don't have a marketing degree or diploma, don't worry about it. It is not required. We will take you, it's going to be a steep learning curve, by the way, but we'll take you from ground zero to a very high level in that short period of time. These are the courses in semester 1. And I think when you just look at the codes, so you see comp for computer, fin for financial, but the vast majority of the courses in this program are marketing related. And the reason why I think this is important is because, yes, it is called marketing financial services, but many of our graduates go on to very, very successful careers in marketing that quite frankly have nothing to do with financial services. So if you were looking for a really good marketing program, and maybe financial services, not really sure at this point, not know if I'm sort of crazy about that particular sector, this still might be a highly appropriate certificate program for you. Now, with respect to the work experience semester, we do offer a great deal of support. There's a work experience preparation course. There's a work experience office and job posting. There's a career center support on resumes and interviewing. And what we also do is we bring employers to the campus to address, and in fact, yesterday there was an employer who came on who's looking to actually hire 4 co-op students starting in January for a really, really exciting startup company. So we do our best to support you in the co-op efforts, but we do want you to understand that this is a competitive process. And many of the co-op postings that you're going to be exposed to are also being shown to other students at other community colleges and other universities. So you really have to do your work as well. You've got to make sure that your resume is exactly where it should be. You've got to make sure that you've done rehearsals for interviewing, etc., in order to be successful in this competitive field. And here are the courses in the second semester. The FIN 4024 and FIN 4025 Canadian investments, I would like to just address for a moment for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is these are the courses that I actually teach. So there's a very, very good chance that if you chose to come to George Brown College, I would be your instructor in those courses. What these courses are specifically are licensing courses. And really, I think a good way to sort of understand this is if you want to legally drive an automobile in Canada, you have to pass a specific type of road test. And similarly, if you want to sell financial products in Canada, you've got to pass a specific couple of courses. And those courses are captured in what is known as the Canadian Securities course. And the Canadian Securities course has 2 parts. We do Canadian Investments 1 and Canadian Investments 2. These 2 courses are supporting the Canadian Securities course. So when you leave here, you will have the ability to be licensed as a salesperson. And then in terms of income, the sky really is the limit. There are a number of people in the city who are involved in selling securities, and they make really, really fantastic incomes, have a tremendous amount of control over their lives. And this is one of the potential career paths that you could really have coming out of this course. Otherwise, as you can see, very, very heavy emphasis on marketing, even more so in the second semester than there was in the first semester. So this program combines the basics of database marketing with the Canadian Securities course. You can visit the csi.ca for details about requirements and additional costs. By the way, if you are attending George Brown College, you will get a George Brown College discount on this particular course, the Canadian Securities course. So if you are interested in coming here and you've even thought about committing at this point, please do not register for the Canadian Securities course yet. Come to George Brown College. We will help you get the discount. There is no need to rush this process. Now, with respect to the employment opportunities upon graduation, many of our students are looking to work in marketing departments for the major firms, and virtually every major bank is headquartered in Toronto. Almost all of the biggest insurance companies are headquartered in Toronto. The most important investment firms, the mutual fund originators, are headquartered in Toronto. So there is just a tremendous amount of opportunity being at George Brown College. Adam told you that we're located on King Street, and he's absolutely correct. Our main building is on King Street East. We are literally a 10 to 15 minute walk from the epicenter of financial services in this country. The epicenter is Bay and King. It is literally a short walk to get there. This is really helpful when it comes to interviewing. It's also just in your day-to-day life, you're going to be running into people who are working at these major organizations and making contacts in a whole bunch of ways you could never even imagine. As well, the advertising agencies look to hire people with the kind of skill sets that we're developing. The fact that you can leave this program and have a good working knowledge of the investment industry and Canadian investments makes you a very attractive candidate for a variety of roles with ad agencies. And what I think is really exciting, and something that you might not even be thinking about now with respect to this course, are the entrepreneurial opportunities. There's a really basic way and a basic revenue model that operates in the financial services industry. And the way that the revenue model operates is sort of along the following lines. If you would be hired by an organization, if you would generate sales, then the deal is you get to keep a certain percent and they get to keep a certain percent. And what this means is not only do you have tremendous control about your future, but there really is no limit to what your upside compensation could be. And the skill set that you will pick up in this firm will really position you for a successful career to sell securities products. Well, here we are at the end of the presentation. So if there's anything that's not clear or you need more information, you've got my email address, and please reach out to me at your convenience. Otherwise, I think we're opening up this session right now to the chat room. So if anybody has any questions that I could help you with, please fire away. How many students, there's a question from Tanya, how many students would be in the class? Tanya, great question. We cap enrollment at around 60 students, but recent experience has been that generally it seems to be the intake is closer to 40, at least been over the past couple of semesters, but a maximum of 60 students. The other very nice thing about this program that I should have mentioned is that you're going to be taking all of the same classes with all of the same students. And what this does is it really leads to fantastic, deep relationships that students are going to have formed for a lifetime. All of you are going to be graduating at the same time. All of you, or many of you, are going to be working in the same industry. You're going to have contacts and hopefully friendships that will last a lifetime. There was a question about our seminar series. So let me about that. You know, we have a series of speakers who are coming in pretty much on a weekly basis. And they're talking about opportunities. In some cases, they're doing on-campus recruiting. We had just a wonderful experience with the Bank of Montreal, which is one of Canada's largest banks for students who maybe aren't quite familiar with the Canadian landscape. They interviewed about 12 students in the program, and they're in the process of making offers right now for co-op opportunities. So some really, really exciting stuff that's happening through the seminar series. I've got a question from, I think the pronunciation would be Marietka. What if you already have an employer? That would be fantastic. So it may be that you might already be working, having a pre-existing relationship with a major firm in the financial services industry. What this would allow you to do is to fulfill your co-op opportunity with that particular employer. We're very flexible working around that. There's also a question about how can you combine the courses? which I'm not quite sure that I understand about combining the courses. Really, the courses are offered by, oh, with work. Okay, fair enough, with work. Now I understand. How can you combine the courses with work? Well, you're going to be having a schedule that you have to follow. And if there's a conflict between your school schedule and your work schedule, either you'd have to work that out with your particular instructor to see if there was some compromise that would be possible. Otherwise, you would have to talk to your employer and see whether or not you could get hours changed, shifts changed, etc. The problem is, or the reality is, given that we all go to school together in the same classes at the same time, we really can't customize a timetable for any individual. When do you get your schedule? So if you were entering the intake in January, you would be getting your schedule, I believe it would be mid-December. Now I can check on that exactly the time that it would be released, but it would be a short period of time, a couple of weeks or a few weeks in advance of the first class. I've just got a note about when you would actually see your schedule, so let me correct on that. Registration will begin late November, and it should be late November by the time you will see your schedule for the January semester. I think that's really all for me right now. So I just want to wish everybody a fantastic weekend. Adam, would you like to say anything in closing?
Thank you very much, Michael. We are going to close down now, except we will leave chat open. So if anybody does have any follow-up questions, Michael or our Center for Business rep or our International Center rep will also stay online for the next 5 minutes or so if any other questions come through. So thank you again, everyone, for attending. Please, if you get a chance, fill out that SurveyMonkey survey and have a wonderful day.